In ancient Israel, during a time when the voice of God was scarcely heard, a humble woman desperately prayed for a child. Hannah, barren and scorned by others, earnestly sought divine intervention. Her prayers were answered with the birth of a son whom she named Samuel, meaning heard of God. The story of Samuel began in Ramah, an ordinary village where his parents, Elkanah and Hannah, lived. From a young age, Samuel was dedicated to God as a Nazirite, and his early life was spent in service at the temple under the priest Eli. His deep faith matured quickly, allowing him to become God's chosen instrument even as a child. One night, the young Samuel lay asleep in the sanctuary when he heard a voice calling his name. Initially mistaking it for Eli's voice, Samuel ran back and forth until Eli realized that it was the Lord who was calling. Eli instructed Samuel to respond to God, and thus, Samuel received his first prophecy, a dire warning to Eli about the future of his family. As Samuel grew, so did his reputation throughout Israel as a trustworthy prophet. He became a pivotal figure during a turbulent period. The tribes of Israel were disjointed, constantly facing threats from neighboring enemies like the Philistines. In this chaos, Samuel served as a judge, bringing law and order to the people and tirelessly advising them to turn back to God. Samuel's leadership led Israel to a renewed spiritual enthusiasm. He called upon the people to put away their idols and return to worshiping only God. Under his leadership, a significant victory over the Philistines was achieved, symbolizing divine favor. The people, however, continued to demand a king like their neighboring nations. Attempting to dissuade them, Samuel warned of the consequences, but ultimately anointed Saul as the first king of Israel under God's guidance. Saul's reign began favorably, but soon deteriorated due to disobedience and pride. Samuel, saddened by Saul's failure, was instructed by God to anoint a new king. This led Samuel to Bethlehem, to the house of Jesse, where he anointed the youngest son, David, as Israel's future king. Though David's rise to kingship wouldn't be immediate, Samuel's recognition of his divine selection signaled a pivotal shift in the nation's history. Samuel continued his duties with a resolute heart until his death. Though the day was mournful for Israel, his legacy lived on through his teachings, prophecies, and the leaders he anointed. Samuel's death marked the end of an era, yet his influence persisted, woven into the foundational fabric of Israel's spiritual and political ecosystems. Thus, Samuel's life and death serve as a reminder of the power of faith, obedience, and the enduring impact of leadership, a man who was indeed heard by God and who faithfully heard God's voice in return.